Hi, this is Daniela Wolf with Bestie Life, the podcast, and this is your community to support you through the little and not so little events that make up your day-to-day life. From the I've got this moments to the I just can't moments. We are here to empower all women to find and develop the skills they need to find peace, balance, and the bliss in their busy. Through solo episodes as well as interviews with amazing women who share their journey and their story and how it works for you. I hope you find the inspirations to make you laugh, think, as well as maybe rethink what you thought you knew, and connect as we realize that we are all living similar ups and downs and don't have to do it alone. So excited for you to hear this episode, and thanks so much for joining me today. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, helping you find the bliss in your busy. And I'm so excited for you today to meet Tanique. She is a personal development life coach. She is the owner of Dream Builders, and she helps professional females stuck with self-doubt. And she's going to help with goal setting, confidence building, and success mindset. So thank you so much, Tanique, for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Daniela, for having me on your program today. I am truly excited to have this conversation with you and to share with your audience today.
Yeah. So if you could share a little bit more about your background, kind of what led you to coming into coaching and motivational speaking and everything like that.
Absolutely. And yes, that is such an amazing question. Well, Daniela, for me, I was in corporate. I've been in corporate banking for a little over 13 years. And that's where I transitioned from to start my own coaching and consulting business. And while in corporate banking, I loved my clients, but I didn't absolutely love my job.
Yeah.
And I find that many of us in the space, we don't necessarily love our jobs, but we go there because it pays the bills. It takes care of the necessities in our lives. And so for me, while I was there, I've seen, like myself, so many unhappy persons coming to work day by day, complaining and just doing just the bare minimum to get what we call a meet expectation at the end of the year so that you could potentially get a bonus.
Yeah.
Right. And so year after year, I kept doing that. And it's like, there must be something else to life than this. And in all of that, I remember speaking to my best friend and she said, Tanique, why don't you become a life coach? And I was like, what? And she said, yes, you won't even know how many times you have actually saved my life in terms of, I was on the brink of just giving up, and you talk to me and you share, you pour into me some things that you wouldn't even know how much they have impacted my life. And I said, really? And she said, absolutely. You have done so much greatness for me. And so I decided to look up what a life coach does. Who is a life coach? Who is a personal development coach? And as I did my research, Daniela, I found that I was just checking all those boxes.
Yeah.
Not just really as a checkbox, but I was just seeing myself in that space. I was seeing myself being that person. And I didn't just take my best friend's word for it. I went and I asked other persons who were in my circle of influence. And they were like, yes, you have this shoulder where persons can just come in and just talk to you. And I find that even when I was in corporate, people would just come into my office and they would just sit down and they would just let it all out. And one of my friends said, you have this demeanor that people can come and they can just unload. And at the end of the day, they feel better knowing that they've spoken to you. And so that is a part of why I became a life coach, because knowing that this was and this is my purpose in this season, to help others, to help them direct, to help them build their confidence. Because there was a time when I didn't have the confidence. You would not find me doing things like these, being on a podcast, sharing my story, sharing my voice. And I build up my confidence, getting a coach, as a matter of fact, to help me, because I know I could not have done it on my own. So that is like the basis why I became a life coach, because I know there was something deeper and I was called to do this kind of work to help others.
Yeah. And they say, like, your zone of genius is that thing that just comes naturally to you and you don't even realize at the time that you're doing it, until you looked it up and saw, oh, this is what it's called. This is the profession. You were just being you.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just being me, just being the Tanique that everybody could come and to, and I would just pour out into them. And so, you're right. When you have your genius, you really don't know that this is it until somebody brings it to the forefront of your attention, the awareness, because most times we're not aware of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of the things I remember we talked about before getting on camera was about the attitude you bring. Can you share a little bit more about that? Because I think we all show up in some way, but being intentional about the attitude you bring is something you really focus on.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I call it a whatever it takes attitude. And that is something I've adopted from learning from John Maxwell, that when we show up, we need to show up with a whatever it takes attitude. Too many times we slink back, we just show up just for showing up sake, but we don't show up with that whatever it takes kind of attitude. And that is something that I have developed myself, showing up with a whatever it takes kind of attitude, whatever it will take for me to move from point A to point B, not just sitting down and hoping that things will happen, but making those intentional steps, taking those intentional actions. And if I find that I'm not able to do it on my own, I ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I'm able to help others to see what is it that they're not seeing for themselves. Because again, I don't always see everything about myself. So someone else is my mirror. And when I show up with that and with that kind of attitude, like, yes, I can. And one of the things to Daniela is that society teaches us to have, but society doesn't teach us to become.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for us to have, we must first become that person. Then we do the action and then we will have. But it's just the other way around, where they talk about having and then you may become, but it's actually the other way around. To become, to do. And those are intentional actions that we do and we take.
Right. And I think when it comes to, talking about getting over your self-doubts, building your confidence, it is that action part of it that is so critical, that changes how we think about it. Because we can think in our head all we want. I can talk myself out of doing just about anything, even getting up some days, but that action is what makes it possible, right?
Yes, that action. For me, I am an overthinker. Mm-hmm. I am a chronic overthinker. I will tell myself I'm going to do something. I'll write it down. It's the action. Mm-hmm. So sometimes the mindset, and I remember seeing something recently where someone asked a question, which is most important, mindset or action? And I said both are very important. Mm-hmm. Both are equally important, both the mindset and the action. Because being an overthinker myself, an overanalyzer, and that I have done personality tests and that has come out, and I acknowledge that about myself, and that is a weakness, but I don't allow that weakness to stop me from moving forward, because I know the self-doubt is going to come. I know that the talk to myself and say, why are you doing this? Why? And we talk ourselves again out of so many things, because we are our worst enemies at times.
Oh yeah.
So no matter how good the idea may seem, we talk ourselves out of it. We tell ourselves, you need more education, you need more time, you need more money, and all of those things you need, instead of actually taking one small step at a time. And that's how I have been training myself and getting the support as well to take that action, move one step forward. I have these sticky notes on my laptop, and they are right there in front of me. And one of them says, let go and take action. Like whenever I'm overthinking, I just look down, let's go and take action. Yeah. And another one says, progress, not perfection. So it's all about moving forward.
Right. No, my sticky notes are in my bathroom mirror. So I see them every day as I'm getting ready myself, because I think that is so powerful to have when you're retraining your mindset, to have that replacement statement of what you're going to believe instead, what you're going to say to yourself, because the action alone, while it's so critical, it needs to be paired with that mindset part of it. So that is so important.
Yes, absolutely. And I have those in my bathroom as well, where I put them up while I'm brushing my teeth. I'll see them and I'll read. And one of the things that I share with my clients as well is that self-confidence formula from Think and Grow Rich. That is such a powerful statement that we can actually take and own it for ourselves, and use it over and over and over to build our confidence, to take those action and help to move us forward.
No, I love that combination, and the way you explain it definitely makes it just seem very simple and actionable and easy to take on for sure. So what are some of the things that you personally do for yourself, Tanique? How do you take care of yourself? What are some of the actions that you take on a regular basis to kind of keep your confidence up?
That is such another great question. For me, when it comes on to taking action for myself, taking care of me, I take a nap sometime. Like if I will be in the middle of the day and I feel like I am overwhelmed, I'm stressed, I will just remove myself from in front of the computer and take a nap, 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then I regroup. Or something that I like doing, and it was suggested by I'm not quite sure which one of the we'll call them the gurus, the motivational gurus. They said go outside. I think it was Jay Shetty, and he said go outside and sit down in the sun. And that is something that I've literally taken on to do, to take myself from in front of my computer to go outside and sit in the sun for 10, 15 minutes while I listen to some meditation, and just to boost my self-esteem, my self-confidence, because those things definitely helps to boost us when we get up, when we move. It helps to boost our self-confidence, talking to myself in that moment as well. And there are times when I may not be able, when I find myself not being the best to myself, I call someone else. I call a friend, I call a coach, I call a mentor, and I tell them what's on my heart. And I said, I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to listen.
Yeah.
Right. And that helps me. But those are some of the small things that I do on a daily basis that helps me to build my self-confidence, because self-confidence can look different for each and every one of us, depending on where we are in life, what situation we may find ourselves in, and what we are doing in that particular moment.
Right. And I love that your options are varied too, because sometimes the best action is that inaction of a nap. Sometimes it is movement, and sometimes it's just connecting with other people. And just having those different options and the variety is going to help you depending on what stage you're in. And I think it just gives you so many different choices. So it's not, well, it's raining today, I can't get outside, so I can't do anything for myself. Like, you always have a backup. There's always another choice.
Yes, absolutely. There are always choices. Most times, you see, we focus on the problem and not pick apart the problem to create the solution. We complain about what's wrong, while there are so many blessings in that challenge or that problem that we may call it. When we look at it, we wake up each day. We are up, our body's healthy, we have things to eat, and all different other things that we can look at. We have those to our accessibility. And those are things that we can literally be grateful for. And one of the things that I practice as well as a part of my self-care routine is journaling in the nighttime. And I set an alarm, I set the timer, and it is like 7 minutes. I don't have to journal for 30 minutes or 1 hour. I just do 7 minutes and I write whatever is on my mind. And when that 7 minutes is up, that's it. Pen down, book is closed. I have poured out all that I can pour out in that 7 minutes. Right. And then I be intentional about what I listen to while going to sleep. And that's a part of my self-care routine as well.
Oh, I love all of that, as well as you kind of like speak my language when it comes to these don't have to be long things. They don't have to be 30 minutes, an hour, 7 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 12 minutes there. You build it in consistently. That is so powerful in having those positive effects, and the consistency of it. Like you said, it's just 7 minutes, but you're doing it every day is where you're making that movement that really matters.
Yes, absolutely. Because we are given 14,440 minutes per day, is it?
Did you do that?
Or something like that. But yes, but if we take it and like 7 minutes is just like a fraction of our day, a fraction of that time. Persons will say, I don't have time. But while you are putting the kids to bed, what can you do within that time if you have children? While you are cooking, what can you do? What can you listen to in that time? While you're going to work, what can you listen to in that time? And so we do have time. It's just that we are not using our time efficiently.
Yeah.
And so those little minutes, they do make a difference. As you said, Daniela, it doesn't have to be an hour, because you're going to think, oh my God, this is just too much. But 5 minutes, 7 minutes is just a fraction of the time. And then, as you said, consistently do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always like to think that gratitude is such a big part of our self-care as well. I think it gets overlooked, but to be able to see that positive on a regular daily basis is also so important. So I always ask my guests, what is kind of the top 2 or 3 things that you're the most grateful for?
Well, the top number one, my family. I absolutely am grateful for my children, my mom, my dad, my stepmom. They are like my everything. So I'm really grateful for them. And the number 2 thing that I'm grateful for is learning daily, like learning something. It doesn't have to be forced. It doesn't have to be, but just learning minor things, like looking at a post that somebody wrote and just looking at that perspective. That is something that we can be grateful for. And I live in the tropical country. I live in a tropical country. So
you do,
for
which
me,
I'm so jealous of.
And so for me, I am absolutely grateful when I wake up in the mornings. I sit right by my window. So I have a chair in my room and I have it right at the window, and I open my windows and I feel that natural, cool morning crisp air coming in. And really, I am just so in awe and so grateful when I feel that hitting my face in the morning. That's just so amazing.
Oh, I love it. And definitely sometimes I think we take for granted just even our surroundings. And so to keep that appreciation and that mindfulness of how special it is such a gift as well. So where can people find you, Tanique? How can they work with you?
Absolutely. So persons can find me on Instagram at Tanique Easy, or on Facebook at Tanique Easy, or on LinkedIn at Tanique Easy. And they can reach out to me directly in my DM, because I will be having a workshop coming up very soon. It's a goal setting workshop where we're going to help persons to set their goals for 2023, because we start from now. If we actually wait until January to start setting those goals, then we are actually going to be behind. And so setting those goals and starting working on them from now will give you an edge over the 95% of the population who will not set those goals, who will probably do what you call a New Year's resolution come January 1 or January 2, but take no intentional action to create those outcomes that they're truly looking for.
Right. And all those links will be live in the show notes below, as well as even after January, connect with Tanique, because I think she's going to help you throughout 2023 when it comes to setting your goals, building your confidence, and definitely getting that success mindset. So thank you so much, Tanique, for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Daniela, for having me on your program today and for sharing with your audience as well.
So much again for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know any questions or comments that you have. Also, if you can please leave an Apple 5-star review so that this episode can be shared with more women. There's 2 quotes that I love. Alone we may be strong, but together we are stronger. As well as when women support each other, incredible things happen. So let's be stronger and incredible together, as well as maybe just have some fun along the way. Thanks so much and talk to you soon. Bye.